Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Scope. And now, here are your hosts, Jared, Adam, and Shane.
Hey, Scope fans, episode 206 of one of your favorite podcasts on the planet.
I saw you checking your notes.
I always do.
See which number it was.
I'd like to make sure that I'm completely covered.
Thank you, Jared.
Jared is here, slapping me down. Adam is here. Bitches.
Just smiling.
Just smiling. Looking like he's up to something.
No.
It's a great
Adam
episode.
has it exactly right.
He does. It's a great episode because this is our free forum, if you will. It's a Scope Catch 'em Up.
A free forum. I like that.
Every once in a while, we just like to talk about things that are going on in our lives. And so I figured
For
this...
who?
For ourselves.
Okay.
And if other people are interested, great. If they're not,
One person said he was interested on our official Scope group on Facebook, so I feel completely justified doing another episode like this then.
it works. So before we get into the official Scope Catch 'em Up, I want to take the A block here just to talk a little bit about an event.
Oh, he's going to get political.
Yeah, it's totally
ahead.
political. No, we've been working with John Norton on his great podcast, Jared.
Buzzer in my
Buzzer
pants.
in my pants. The Scope has been a resident there for a few weeks for the month of May.
66% of us have.
It's only a two-person game, Adam. But if you want in, you certainly could be in. And
you can do it remote. There's no reason for you to be here.
No.
You could be on Skype.
you absolutely could do that. Mr. Norton was very curious about a story that I sort of mentioned a few episodes ago about how my daughter has finally learned, after many, many years, that Santa Claus and all the other mystical creatures that we trick our children into believing is not real.
They made a movie about him. The Guardians.
It had to be real, right?
Rise of the Guardians.
The documentary.
They're not real?
So you guys may
Bubble burst.
You may recall a year and some change ago, I told a story about how the neighbor boy pretty much told Audrey that the Easter Bunny was not real. He's a year younger than her. And that she, using her powers of persuasion and her just firm belief that that was false, convinced him that the Easter Bunny was real, and she actually changed him around.
Wow.
Is that more you or your wife that she got that from?
I think that it's a combo platter of it. But
They're
thing is,
both stubborn.
once you get into this pack of lies, it's hard to unweave it, and it's hard to let it go because you know that it's only going to crush your child. Like this past Christmas, I wrote a very detailed letter from Santa because Audrey had questions, and so I'm like, I'm going to be funny about it. I'm going to talk about how your mother is beautiful and your dad is handsome, and how one of your cousins was close to being on the naughty list. I mean, I really went all out on it, and she loved that letter. But the problem is my daughter's in 4th grade, so she is definitely at the upper end of when you should stop believing in Santa Claus. I stopped believing probably in kindergarten or 1st grade.
Why do you call it believing? Why don't you call it like knowing?
That's a good question. It's just the language that I use. So a couple weeks ago, Audrey was hanging out with the neighbor kids. Not only, the boy that she convinced that the Easter Bunny was real, and then we have kids all over us, to the north of us, to the south of us, and they were just sitting around playing as kids do.
Sounds like trouble.
And they were just
A kid pack?
and they were talking, yeah. And so Carrie and I didn't really know what was going on, but whatever, they're talking, and I think we ended up having to go for a drive or something. And Carrie had to go in her car, and I had to go in mine. And I get home, and Carrie walks in the door before Audrey. And she's like, get ready for it. That's what she said to me. So Audrey walks in, and her eyes are watery.
Oh, no.
And she's unhappy. And I'm like, what's going on here? What kind of conversation did you guys have? And Audrey walks in and says, Dad, is it true that Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny and the Tooth Fairy doesn't exist anymore? And I look at Carrie and I'm like, yeah, honey. And then it's true. It's, we've sort of been telling stories, and the waterworks come pouring down.
Oh, no.
And Carrie says to me, well, when the kids were outside playing earlier today, well, they pretty much all teamed up and shattered Audrey's world, one pretend character after another. Like Santa's not real, Easter Bunny's not real, leprechauns aren't real, anything. Loch Ness Monster, Yetis. I mean, these kids were just absolutely merciless.
No, wait a minute. Yetis, there are shows.
Squatch. I'm putting a kibosh to that. Probably not real.
What? What? Also, probably.
Yeah. So Audrey she's just destroyed. And so now she's starting to question everything we've done. You've written, there's letters. So she's saying, like, the letters, are those real? No.
Well, the letters are real. They're just the source of them isn't.
Are the half-eaten cookies that are left there, are those real? Like, well, we actually ate those because we're not going to let cookies to Santa Claus go to waste. What about the carrots? Well, we'd take a bite of them, but we don't really like to eat carrots on, midnight on December 23rd because we don't want to do that.
So many other good treats around.
So she's absolutely disgusted with us.
Of course.
Oh, no.
As she should be.
Yeah. And so now she's like, every once in a while, she'll bring it up.
The lies!
Yeah.
Daddy, the lies!
Like, you remember when you wrote those letters to me from Santa Claus? That wasn't very nice, was it, Dad?
So now you're like, all right, I'm going to work. Have a good day. Oh, really? Are you really going to work?
Like, just
really?
like,
Or maybe
she
you're
totally
just lying to
You're
me.
going off-track betting, aren't you?
Yeah, it was a really hard thing. And, so you're trying to explain it to her. Like, what analogy could you have in life? And I tried to say, like, when kids play outside and they're pretending to be, I guess you could have, like, the Cowboys and Indians, but people don't do that anymore. But you pretend like you're
LARPing. Just tell her LARPing.
Yeah, you're
She'll
LARPing.
know.
when you're LARPing
maybe
with your friends.
You're pretending to be a Power Ranger, and it's a lot of fun to do that, but you know that it's not real, but yet you still pretend. That's sort of how Mom and Dad did with Santa Claus. And that analogy doesn't really fly with her. She just was sort of
I don't
upset
think
about
any
it.
analogy is going to fly with her, though, right? It's too close.
Well,
She's just angry.
her first question was, do I still get presents? Of course, because we've raised a selfish child. The answer is yes, you still get presents.
So, can I ask you a question?
Tags will just
Feel
be a little
free.
different.
For new parents,
Yeah.
right, where their kids are, whatever, 4 or 5.
Are these like?
Are you suggesting that you may be a new parent at some point?
No.
Are these new parents like new metal? Like it's got a twist to it somehow? Spelled NU, right? Carry on, Adam. Go ahead.
This is only the A block, Jared. Don't sidetrack him.
What? Okay, so do you feel like you made a mistake?
No,
in
I
waiting
don't.
Okay.
I mean, I think that if you buy into the Santa Claus myth or the perpetuating of it, you have to know that this moment will come no matter what.
And you're okay with that.
I was utterly shocked that it took this long for Audrey to get the download on it, if you will, as the kids would say. I just figured it would have happened years ago.
Right.
And she never really asked us, is he real? Maybe she did like recently and we're like, well, what do you think? And she'd be like, yes, I do. I'm like, okay, well, what are you going to do? We were sort of waiting for that moment when her friends would blow it up for her. We just didn't think it would be so dramatic and so intense and all in one little moment.
Right.
And so here's the other thing. That same day, seriously, not 10 minutes before she started crying, she lost a tooth. So then her question was, am I still getting money from the Tooth Fairy?
Oh,
And the answer is no. Once you know about the Tooth Fairy, you don't get money anymore.
It's good.
Boom.
It's a good way to-
You burnt. That's what I said
it's
to
a good
her.
way to-
You burnt.
what about Easter baskets?
You burnt. No, Easter basket still exists.
Okay.
You still can get candy. You just wake up in the morning and there's some candy there.
You just wake up in the morning, your tooth's gone, and the dollar's under
Yeah.
your.
Well, that's not the same. It's different. We have very strict rules, Adam.
You're teaching her to not be intellectually curious, because if she is and learns things, then she doesn't get the cool stuff anymore.
That's the plan. So we've got a lot more of these great stories coming up on the rest of the scope. We've got, I'm sure, Adam's honeymoon vacation, perhaps my latest mix-up with the endoscopy, Adam.
You thought you were going to work, and all of a sudden there's a camera up your butt.
Nope. No, down my throat.
Down your throat.
And
Wow,
Jared's,
very different procedure.
and Jared's got a really great story about building like 9 IKEA desks.
I don't know about that. I don't know if it's a great story. And you know what? If mine gets cut for time, that's fine.
So let's take a quick break. We'll be back with more scope and more catch 'em up right after this.
Attention fans of funny music. FumpFest is back. With performances by Tim Cavanaugh, Todd Chappelle, Jessica Delfino, Steve Goody, Matt Griffo, Insane Ian, Drew Jacobs, Mikey Mason, The Great Luke Ski, Smashy Claw, TV's Kyle, Carla Ulbrich, and Worm Quartet. Plus, this year's special guest of honor, The Arrogant Worms.
I've heard the screams of the vegetables.
FumpFest is taking place June 5th through 7th at the Westin North Shore in Wheeling, Illinois, just outside Chicago. Tickets for the weekend are just $35 until March 31st. Join us for live concerts, panels, the Demented Dance, dumb parody ideas, Demented Karaoke, and the 5th annual Logan Whitehurst Memorial Awards for Excellence in Comedy Music. Visit FumpFest.com to register for the event and reserve your hotel now. That's FumpFest.com.
I saw a man eating celery, so I beat him black and blue.
Hey everybody, we're back. It is episode 206 of The Scope. We're filling you in on all of the great things that are happening in our lives. One of the reasons why we had an extra week break a few weeks ago was Adam was taking his beloved wife on a dream vacation to Hawaii. And so I want to find out what happened, if he found the hidden dinosaurs in the valleys that obviously exist there.
Clearly.
I know that there was there earthquakes or tsunamis or something, some traumatic events going on? Were you there during all that stuff? Adam, just fill us in on the whole kit and caboodle.
There was an earthquake that I think was only felt on the Big Island.
Okay.
It was a low 2 point something. No one there even felt it.
Gotcha.
And it was the day that we flew out anyway. So we were in the air when that happened. So
you just saw the world shaking.
So it's the sort of thing you probably didn't even need to bring up.
Yeah.
He brought it up.
I did bring it up, so blame me.
There was a shark attack a couple days before we left.
Is that better or worse than a Zach attack?
Way worse,
Way
because the
worse.
lady died.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jared feeling bad about it. Was it a great white?
Mud on my face.
I don't know if they know. I don't know.
Hammerhead?
They didn't capture the shark for questioning?
No. It was on Maui that it happened. We were on Oahu. So
Were they far into the ocean, or was it like...
They were kind of deep.
I would not
They
would not at all be interested in that sort
Yeah.
of deep ocean action.
They were kind of deeper than you would usually go. Sharks, I mean, despite what you see on the movies, they don't really go to shore. Like, what they're eating isn't near shore, so there's no reason for them to do
So
it.
not a lot of In-N-Out burger in their diet.
There's no In-N-Out burger in Hawaii.
Ooh.
Yeah, but
you
sharks
get-
aren't just in Hawaii.
What?
Did you have pineapple and
Disgusting.
everything? That's the real question.
Yeah, a lot of pineapple, a lot of coconut.
Spam? Any spam?
Well, I did have spam. We went on a hole-in-the-wall food tour.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then I immediately was like, is there one of these in Minneapolis? Because there's probably places that I don't know exist. And for, a fee, if someone wants to drive me around and give me food, I would probably do
Was
that.
there a lot of people, or was this like a two-person tour?
I think there were 12 people on
And
the...
they just put you in a shuttle bus and drive you around?
Basically, and give you the history of Hawaii and food in Hawaii.
What were some of the cool things that you ate on this tour?
We ate malasadas, which are very tasty donut-like things.
Mhm.
We ate, I'm going to forget the names of things, other donut-like things that have meat.
So it's a donut tour of Hawaii.
That have meat in them.
I have
Ooh,
a
a
donut
meat
tour
donut.
coming up in June. It's going to be fun.
Hanua, I don't remember.
Way to
anymore.
prepare.
Yeah, right. So they have different types of pork
You burnt.
in them. They're like, the Hawaiian.
Like a savory bun, if you
Yes,
will.
the Hawaiian bread
Yeah.
buns that you can buy. But they are baked with shredded
I
pork.
thought that was just bullshit marketing. King's
That-
Hawaiian.
that's-
King's Hawaiian. I saw trucks driving.
There's a
all
lot
around
of
there.
Asian buns of that nature.
Yeah.
So that's probably, considering where they're at, I'm sure there's some Asian influence in some
Definitely,
of that food.
those were awesome. They were telling us like instead of bringing like danishes or donuts in the mornings in offices, they bring these things because they have meat in them. It
And
makes-
Denmark's a half a world away. You can't get Danishes in Hawaii.
Difficult.
right. We went to a place where they make rice noodles for restaurants right there in Chinatown, and we had some fresh rice noodles. And Mandy and I like Thai food a lot, so we have rice noodles, with that pretty regularly. Very different having fresh rice noodles than what you're getting at even okay restaurants,
Sure.
okay Thai places. Speaking of Thai places, we went to a really cool place on the North Shore where you sit down. It's just kind of like a divey Thai restaurant,
Mhm.
and there's a little plastic menu. You look at it, the chef comes over, takes the menus away, shakes your hand, bumps your fist in my case, asks you if you've ever had Thai food before, interviews you a little bit, asks like if what are some of your common Thai dishes.
Does he
that you
ask
like?
for like your spice level? Because that would scare me.
He does, and I said 3 at Sawadi, right? Like you have no
Yeah.
context on what that
That's
means.
spicy for me, though.
Right. And he was like, give me an example. I said, well, every place we've been so far on the island, I've said I like it hot, and nothing's been hot so far. So he was
Uh-oh.
like, perfect. I
You're
know what to do.
asking for it.
Nope. It was perfect. It was, I said, we're from Minneapolis. What do we know about spice? He said, okay, I know what to do. And he made it half a degree hotter than it's ever been at Sawadee, like, which is perfect because it's like, it's spicy, nose runs a little bit, mouth's hot. The Thai food spice is different than like, Mexican spice.
How do you risk your heartburn issues with that?
I just said no tomatoes. Oh yeah, so he takes the menus away.
Do you have GERD? That's the first question he asks.
He's just like, he names some stuff. He's like, can you have any of these? Yeah, sure. And then he's like, duck, crab.
Did you have
chicken.
massamum chicken or massamum steak? Because I love that. That's my favorite.
No, that's not a real Thai dish.
It absolutely is.
Have you ever been to Owen's Thai Kitchen on University in St. Paul?
No.
Should try it.
Yes,
It's good.
yes, I have.
It's good.
That is good.
It's very good.
Yeah, and he's like, anything you guys can't have? And Mandy said berries. I said tomatoes. He's like, no big deal. Got it.
So
'Cause
she's
most-
allergic to berries. She's one of those weirdos that can't have berries.
Yeah, weirdo.
Never heard of such a thing.
Mandy surfed.
Oh,
She went surfing in Waikiki.
fought off a shark.
She kicked it in the nose a
She
bunch of
brought a
times.
bang stick, which is a stick with a cartridge to blast it.
Sure.
Wow.
It's called
Really-
a gun, I think. Is
Is
what
that a
you're...
thing, really?
It is a bang stick. Look it up.
Okay.
We
They
swam
use
with
those in Fury Road, by the way. A lot of bang sticks.
Yes. We swam with dolphins.
Oh,
We saw a humpback whale and its baby
yeah.
splashing around. When a whale does that thing with its tail where it's like,
Yeah.
like it smacks the water, it leaves a footprint or a tail print in the water. Like the water molecules are so disturbed that the spot where they smacked stays there for like a minute. So like even as waves are kind of rolling over it and everything, it stays there. You can
Crazy.
Weird.
That was the weirdest thing I've ever seen before. We went snorkeling like 3 different times.
Did you get in any fights?
No, maybe I don't really fight. We went hiking.
Did you get in fights with anyone other people?
Yeah.
I know you like to
You
start
see
a
any
street
weird-
brawl.
You see any weirdos there? Anything weird?
I learned that in Japanese culture, so when you start counting and you count on your hands, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
They don't start with their thumb. I think they start with their index actually. But when you get past 5, you don't do 6, 7, right? So if you wanted to say 7 with fingers to a Japanese person, you say 7. You say 5, open hand, and then digit and middle finger of the other hand, kind of like,
Interesting.
tapping. Because there was a lady that wanted to learn how to surf when Mandy was going and asking about it. And the guy was like, all right, good. You know how to swim? And she was like, no. She was like, is that a problem? She's saying all this in Japanese accented broken English.
It's a huge problem.
Yeah. So he was like, the guy's like, come back tomorrow at like 7 a.m. The waves will be calmer and it'll be okay even if you can't swim. So that's how I
Interesting.
learned that. We hiked everywhere. So you were talking about the dinosaurs because Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
was,
did you
was
do like
filmed
a
there.
tour of all the famous places that have been shot on film?
Basically, I mean, we didn't do a tour of them. We just kind of looked up like best outdoor things to do in Hawaii because Mandy won't let me go see movies in the theater when we're on vacation.
We learned that.
What a jerk. And so we went to Manoa Falls, which is where Lost, some of Lost was shot. We went to Waimea Falls, which is where other parts of Lost and most of Jurassic Park's exterior stuff was shot. I don't know if they actually then, came back and did all the actual stuff, in the U.S.
Yeah.
In the U.S. On the mainland.
Do I use this opportunity to make a really bad joke?
Feel free.
The Waimea Files, that's where a lot of forlorn Italian people hang out.
Thanks, Jared. I mean, I thought we were struggling for pacing on this show already, but that really just about did it. We'll chalk this one up to.
I told you it was going to be bad.
Yeah, you're fair. You did prepare us.
Here's the main thing I learned.
Yes.
Hawaii is an amazing place.
Mm-hmm.
I would live there in a second. It's beautiful. It's like always.
You don't feel like you're too
85
detached
degrees.
from
It's expensive.
the rest of America?
It's not as expensive as you'd think. Real estate is. Real
Yeah.
estate is exceedingly expensive.
85 degrees always.
Yep.
I would not want to be there.
Too hot.
Oh,
for me.
I loved it. It was like when you wake
I
up.
imagine you get used to it, but still.
Yeah, and it's humid, but it's not humid. Like our humidity is an annoying humidity. That it just felt appropriate.
Yeah.
It's not as expensive as people say. So like gas, I think gas was like $1 more a gallon. That's expensive. But
It's not that big of a place. You just walk everywhere, right?
exactly. The other, like all the other expenses other than milk, which, there's issues with they can't process their own dairy there. So they have cattle farms and stuff, but like it would cost too much to create like a USDA approved slaughter and dairy thing, I
So
guess.
everything has to be shipped.
So they their cows get shipped to California to get slaughtered. And then if they want to, it can get shipped back to Hawaii. But usually they're just bringing in whatever's cheap from Canada. Horse. But like
Moose,
if
elk.
you know where to go, restaurants aren't that much more than here. I'd say stuff's probably 15% more expensive overall.
So what are you telling us? Are you moving to Hawaii?
Peace.
Out. He's out.
Latency is pretty bad there, so I don't know how our podcast recording is going to go.
No NFL football team.
Right. And here's the thing. If you wanted to watch the Vikings, which I don't, but if you wanted to watch the Vikings and you were in Hawaii,
Yeah.
games come on at 7, noon games here come on at 7 in the morning.
Get up early, Jared.
That seems crazy.
Hey, get your weekend, gets that last day of the weekend started off right.
Well, that means you have to get up at 6 to, pregame.
Oh my God.
It is fantastic.
You loved it. Would you go back again?
Yes.
Are you one of those vacation guys that every place you go has to be different, or you'd be perfectly happy going back to the same place a few times?
I think I'm both. I think I would go back, but given just the choice, I still want to go to a new place.
Yeah.
But like that place is, we didn't stay in Waikiki. We didn't stay in Honolulu. We stayed outside of Honolulu because of my coworker that I was staying with. I think we talked about why I was going there on a previous show. So
Yeah.
I was rooming with.
You got a good deal, is what you're saying.
It's free to stay.
That'd be so much fun,
yeah.
Jared. We need some coworkers that can get us free rooms. in Hawaii.
It's not that expensive to be in Hawaii when you can stay somewhere for free.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. 100%. Well, so again, the real estate being expensive, it's because there's not anywhere new to build,
Yeah.
really, right? I mean,
There's those volcanoes. They're always making new land.
Yeah.
Right.
Come on.
That's only on the Big Island. No other volcanoes are active on the other islands.
Well, what are we doing to get them beat? Because there are development opportunities that
Yeah.
await.
Throwing dynamite in.
All right.
I think that'll do it.
Can we sacrifice some virgins? What is it going to take?
But
Have we
like,
learned nothing from Joe versus the Volcano?
there's basically not really a lot more room unless you want to be in the mountain.
Yeah.
So they looked into like a Dubai situation where they just build up a sand island out in the ocean.
that might be what they do next.
Okay.
So like houses that probably were like affordable in the 50s, or even maybe before World War II, we'll say, affordable for what they were, now are worth $9 million.
Jeez.
My coworker, so he was working with the Department of Ed people, and this woman was saying how she kind of doesn't really like living in Hawaii. She's her whole life, her whole family, everyone's from Hawaii. So she's third generation in her house. So it was like her grandma bought the house, her mom owned it after that, and now she does. It's a $9 million house. It's a beautiful house. She's like, I kind of want to live in the mainland.
What are the property taxes on that? Jeez.
I don't know. So yeah, right. That's probably makes it hard to afford.
9 million. Yeah, if you moved to the States, you'd be
rich. You'd be a
Rich.
millionaire.
Yeah. Instant millionaire.
Also, don't say the States because they're a state. You say the mainland.
The mainland, sorry.
Um,
The mainland states.
So yeah, so living there, I'm sure there's apartments and I'm sure there's cheaper houses, and getting from one end of the island to Honolulu, where like 90% of all the jobs are, in traffic takes a while, but it's like if there's not any traffic, it's 30 minutes. Like it's not a big island.
Wow.
So it's doable.
So he's considering moving to Hawaii, Jared.
Sounds like it.
I would be. I'm not going to, but
Thank God. We need you here.
yeah,
You're the anchor of this show,
very
sir.
important. I will send a big shout out to Delta for having
Big shout out.
free movies to watch on all 4 legs of the flight. So I watched all these movies at my disposal.
And what did he watch? Pitch
I watched
Perfect.
Tommy Boy.
So far, not a good
Free, huh?
Not a good
Yeah,
start.
watch Tommy Boy for free. That's
I watched Tommy Boy for free, and I laughed a lot. And then I watched the new Godzilla, which is not great.
not great.
Yeah, I don't know. People seemed overly excited about it.
Kill
when it
your
came
main
out last
character
year.
right away, and
That was weird.
He's
Yeah.
not their main character. Godzilla's the
Should've
main
been.
character.
And Godzilla's a good guy.
Yeah.
Very strange.
Well,
I
no,
didn't
because I
get-
think
Godzilla's always been a
Godzilla,
good guy,
except
hasn't
for
he?
the first one, Godzilla was like Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla.
I guess I just don't know Godzilla lore. Sorry.
lore.
Not my bailiwick.
But he's also a good guy that also like he murders lots of people on accident just by stepping on them or like.
Although they evacuate everyone.
he's clumsy. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
So yes, it made what was otherwise some very long flights, way more tolerable.
You know, there's these little devices that run on batteries that you can take on with you. I think it's called an iPad?
I had everything. This is the same thing.
He probably had a million things.
Yes.
You know, iPads and old
I had
iPods,
an
everything.
Oculus VR.
There's this,
to watch stuff
there's
with.
this thing called a book.
No, I had all of those things.
But no, he had to watch Tommy Boy.
It's like
that
when
was
the Shawshank Redemption
that's
comes
a
on
drive-
TV
drive
and you're
thing.
like, oh, I have to watch this now.
I never say that about Tommy Boy.
Well, I don't either, but it happened.
What did your lady watch?
She tried to watch The Best Marigold Hotel. Is that what that one's called? And
The
she
sequel
was,
is the second best Marigold.
and
Hotel.
she's like, I haven't watched just like a.
She's like, I'm not 70. I guess this doesn't this doesn't work for me.
And I guess in her mind, a chick flick is a movie geared towards 70-year-olds.
Yeah. Which hey, there can be plenty of movies for 70-year-olds.
Right.
It's just not going to be hers.
I was like, hey, Love Actually is on this. I guarantee you can watch that if you want to. And Love Actually was on there.
And she cried.
No, she's like, oh, we just watched it. So
She cried then.
Yeah.
probably.
She cried.
Yeah, she did.
She slept. She can sleep on planes. I can't sleep on planes because I'm watching Tommy Boy.
Right.
Yes.
That keeps you awake.
Well, Jared, while Adam was watching Tommy Boy,
Yeah.
I was getting another endoscopy.
In Hawaii?
No.
Oh,
here.
sorry.
So I wanted to talk.
They did keep the office at a balmy 85 degrees.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about this story with you, Adam, because as I recall,
Yeah, we had twin endoscopies.
Yeah,
You guys
because
are endo buddies.
the last time you got yours done. And by the way, I'm sort of having some issues with like
Sorry to hear that.
with reflux and like a feeling that there's something in my throat.
Yeah.
Which is a sign of stuff like that. But it
Is
also
it a squatch? Is there a
there's a
squatch
squatch in my throat.
Yeah.
Me personally, Adam, just between you and me, I think there might be like stress issues that might be kicking that up a little bit. But for whatever reason, I had to go get another
It's
one.
not between you and me, just so you know.
Oh, and Jared.
Okay. Yeah, good.
I'm here. I'm an
but,
impartial observer.
So as I recall, the last time we had our twin endoscopies,
Mm-hmm. We held hands.
I had a pretty good experience. Like I didn't remember anything. You know, I was in, they shot me up with the medication, and when I woke up, I was in the recovery room and they were talking to me. I was woozy.
Yeah.
And you did not have that experience.
No,
correct?
they didn't put me under.
They didn't give you an IV with medication?
I mean, maybe
Well,
I was sedated some,
well,
but
yeah,
I did not go under.
We were both, I'm sure we were sedated the same way,
Yeah.
but I was sedated enough where I didn't remember it.
Yeah, I remember it.
You remember
'cause
it.
I don't know if you have a gag issue. I have a severe gag reflex.
I don't have a severe gag
Okay.
reflex, but this time around, I did not have the same doctor, and he was very much all business. Like, we're going to get you through. And I was talking to my wife about the specialists in general
Yeah.
tend to be very poor with bedside manner. Like,
Right.
it's like-
They're there to do a procedure and then they're done and they're out.
So I think I was lucky with my first doctor because he was like, hey, how's it going? Let's have a conversation. Let's have not fun, but I mean, it was definitely he tried to detensify the room.
Yeah.
My second doctor was not that guy. And I remember everything this time around.
Yeah.
And I don't have a severe gag reflex, but I remember sitting there watching him prepare the tube. And the tube is probably slightly smaller than a garden hose, but it's a fairly, intimidating thing. And then I remember it being in my throat and feeling it moving up and down in my throat and thinking, do not swallow because it's not going to feel good if you do.
Yep.
When is this going to be over type of thing. Now, it wasn't as bad as my LASIK surgery because my LASIK, I was very aware and it was just weird, looking and seeing it happening where with the endoscopy, you can close your eyes and you can feel it in there, but you don't have to bear witness to it. You're not.
Yeah.
And
The LASIK
I was
didn't-
much more tense on my LASIK than I was. And I feel
I
like
could see that.
LASIK took longer to do. Maybe it didn't, but
It
for me,
definitely
it
didn't.
felt like it took longer.
Yeah.
So yeah. So then here's the other thing about the endoscopy. When you go into the recovery room, they come in and they do an information drop on you. Like, okay, you have this, this, and this, and this, and this. And you're like I need a proxy there for me to digest all this. And I remember that
Carrie wasn't there with you?
No, my
okay.
stepfather, my father-in-law was there. But the thing is that I was prepared mentally going into it. Like, I know I'm going to have questions, and I really want to sit down with this guy and have an in-depth conversation of what's going on. I want to explain my situation. And you just can't. You're so out of it. He's like, blah, 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 gives you this paper. See ya. I'm on.
On to the next one.
Once again, specialists don't have a lot of time for this stuff. Yeah. So yeah, he gets it and he's like, your endoscopy looked pretty good. There might be a couple things there that might show that you have acid reflux.
that might show.
And I'm thinking to myself, in my drug state, like I know I have it because I've been
on medication for years.
I've been highly medicated on this, so I don't like. Is there something else that's going on with this that we don't know about that you're not telling me? So then he gets the results back next day, and it's like, well, we had irritation in the lower esophagus, and we also had some in the mid. So that is a good sign that there might be acid reflux going on. So we want to give you another test, which is called the Bravo test.
A Bravo test.
A Bravo pH test.
All right.
So what it is they don't even this one they don't even sedate you. They might like put a spray in your throat, and they insert a little capsule on a guide wire. Where I don't know if they insert it through your nose down into your throat, and what they do is they attach this thing to your esophagus, like it's a suction, whatever, and then it stays in your throat for 2 days.
Sounds terrible.
And what it does is it measures all acid. So if you have any acid that comes up, it measures it. And then you also have to take a deep...
It's like inner space.
Wow.
It's very high tech. And he said it's the gold standard of acid. Because there's another test where they do for 24 hours, which I hear is really, really bad and not great. But then you also have to journal it. So, okay, I ate this at this time. I laid down at this time. And then they'll take all this data and essentially see when the acid is coming up and, if there's certain things that trigger it.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that I have acid reflux, or I know that there's something going on. And so I called him, and of course he didn't call me back. And I said, or he wasn't there, so he had to call me back. And I'm like, I want to talk more about this. And so he calls me back, the end of the day on Friday, and says, well, some of your symptoms are a little strange. Like you have a cough from time to time and a little bit of hoarseness in your throat. So we want to make sure that it's acid reflux. And I sigh again. And I say, I'm thinking to myself, have you not looked at my records? My history. I'm like, doctor, those are just more recent things. My main issue is acid taste in my mouth. Certain foods that trigger this, and the fact that I feel like there's a lump in my throat. And he's like, well, I think I'm going to stand by my original diagnosis, and we just want to check this out to make sure. So, okay, that's fine. When can we do this? And the nearest appointment we could schedule for this, Adam, is July 16th. So I have 2 months.
There's no other. This is Minnesota Gastroenterology.
And you're trying to go through all of this to try to see if there's a tweak to your medication you can make, right?
So yes. So they could do one in June, which I will be on vacation in Chicago. So I can't do it that day because I want to enjoy my Chicago vacation. Yeah. The next one is over Convergence, 4th of July. So the next one after that then would be the 16th of July. And I told him that. I said, he's like, well, maybe we'll look into seeing if we can get you in there a little earlier. Okay, great. So in the meantime, I'm going to just be dealing with my regular doctor, and we'll just be tweaking my medication. And it's very possible by the time this test comes up, I could be feeling completely normal. It may not be, but it's amazing how when you deal with specialty stuff, that you're sort of at the whim of whatever happens.
Doesn't sound fun.
It's frustrating. And you know what? Like right now, I feel okay. I still feel a little icky, but, I'm having a good time with you guys.
Yeah.
But
you have times a day when it flares up?
It's weird. Sometimes things will trigger it. Like before the lump in my throat happened, I was having really bad acid taste in my mouth, which was unusual, and I made a mental note of it.
Mm-hmm.
And certain foods would trigger. And as you get older, we know that we have things that we have to avoid. Eating late is a bad idea. Eating big meals is a bad idea, at least for me. Even weird things like bending over, doing certain physical activity. Like if you're leaning over, you're like, oh, that feels sort of weird. So that hit, and then some of that stuff subsided, and then it was lump in my throat, a little bit of acid, especially certain foods triggering it really, really bad. So,
are you just doing this because you hear that medicinal marijuana is going to become legal?
That's a huge part of why I'm doing this. I'm sort of laying the groundwork for...
You want to be there right at the beginning.
Yeah.
You want to have your case all laid out.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on.
Your glaucoma is also kicking up. Remember that.
Yeah, I really wanted to have this moment with you to share that I know what it feels like now to feel under stress and with the tube in your throat, because it was very, very disconcerting.
I hated it.
Yeah, I was really loopy, and if he would have waited even 5 minutes, I think I may not have remembered anything. But he was like, it is business time right now, boys. Turn off the lights, get the tube going, and we're going to go down there and check things out. So yeah, I'm not terrifically happy with my specialist doctor because I don't feel like he
Well,
really did the work that
you get the
he
little
should've.
survey after the fact, right? And you can
Yeah, I'm like,
give him low marks.
Bury
yeah,
him.
like when I talked to him on Friday and he was like, your main symptoms are itchy throat and coughing. I'm like, no. It's like, are you new to the game here, dude? What's going on? So I know maybe I'll change doctors. I don't know. Talk to my main.
You got to vote
my
with your
main-
wallet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're sort of at the whim though, because
Oh,
this
totally.
is probably the best clinic in Minnesota.
Yeah.
They're very good at what they do. They just, it's weird when you have a regular doctor and a specialist and trying to coordinate all that stuff because he's not your main doctor.
Yeah.
So you're trying to figure out how you can communicate with these guys, transfer that knowledge over to your other doctor. It's a whole huge pain in the ass, but
Yeah.
I'll keep everybody posted. Hopefully by the next.
One thing that I'll let you know
Go ahead.
when the time comes, or if you ever have to do the butt version of this,
Mm-hmm.
which is a colonoscopy.
Yeah. you can use.
Honestly,
the butt version.
yeah. There are places that don't put you under for that.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
I didn't know that was a thing because when I had to do mine out, I felt that was great. No
Yeah.
discomfort afterwards. Just
You have to you have to say I want to be knocked out, or
no.
I want.
I didn't have to.
No, I mean if you're going into it, knowing what you know now, you need to make that
Oh
clear.
yeah,
that-
going forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard that when it comes for that stuff, we literally are talking. I mean, we're completely alienating every single youthful audience. But the preparation for that stuff is far harder than the actual.
YOLO,
Yes.
guys. I brought
Yes.
him back. It's okay. I brought him back. The
Thank
youth
you.
are back.
Thank you, Jared.
Yeah. No food for 3 days.
And then you're clearing that system out like crazy.
Yep.
Then your colon's on fleek.
Yep.
Kids are back.
Nice, Jared.
Kids are back.
You've never had any of this business, Jared, right?
Not yet. I mean, I deal with some acid too, but the
Yeah.
Prilosec seems to do its job for the
Yeah.
most part. So.
And
Hey,
the
don't
irony,
don't get old. That's
the-
what my main.
The
suggestion
irony
would be.
is, Adam, if after all is said and done with this test stuff, really the only thing they're going to know is that I have acid.
Mhm.
Which you like?
And-
I already know that.
And that's exactly what
So,
my doctor
I mean,
will be treating.
What are
with me.
you? What's the point of doing all this?
Well, I think that the idea is we need to know exactly what we're dealing with. At least
Okay.
that's what the specialist
In
says.
case there's something worse going
Yeah,
on.
but he's like, if he goes, if we do this and we see that there is no acid reflux, then we can look for other problems. But I mean, the tests have shown there is acid irritation in my throat, so the chances of it being that are pretty good. But wants to find out. What are you going to do? Wants to find out.
Yeah.
So I'll keep you posted.
Do a food journal.
Yeah, food journal.
yeah.
Hey, listen, I will tell you.
It helped me with my tomato thing.
I will tell you this. I've eliminated soda. I've eliminated chocolate out of my life. A lot of things that, I've cut back tremendously on like fried foods and stuff like that. So that's good. And, you don't eat late, so you eat less.
Sounds
So that-
boring.
It is boring and it's not fun, but
It's not
it's good.
fun or funny.
that's why I'm drinking low calorie Gatorade right now. At least something sweet down my palate. So there we go. Jared, we've had a long show, so we're going to
Yeah.
save your story.
My story is not even a story. We moved to a new office space, and I did a lot of work, and that's all.
and
It's
Jared
really-
has a great
not
life
much
going
to it.
right now.
It's
Everything's turning up,
charms.
Jared. Look at him.
Oh yeah, got squirrels in the backyard. It's great. Good times.
Oh, my goodness. And with that, Jared, let's take a quick break.
Yep.
And we'll be back with coming soon, because why not? Right here on 106,
206.
206 of the
I
Scope.
thought you were doing like a radio, like right here on Hot Hits 106.
Best from yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Right here on the Scope.
Thank
Back in a
you,
second.
Jared.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the scope.
Under the scope.
We are back. 206 in the house. Adam is here with coming soon. Adam?
Yeah.
You've got a list of great things.
You guys ever hear like music during this show?
What do you mean?
Okay.
That kind of music? What are you
Yeah.
talking about?
No, that's nothing.
What do you? I don't hear
It's usually
anything.
pretty quiet when
See-
we record.
See, Shane was playing into it.
Hmm.
Okay.
I got it.
I know it. Took you a minute. Music. This is coming soon. These are things that are coming soon. Music. The band Ash.
Click here to subscribe.
Ash Ketchum, like
Ash-
from Pokemon.
That's exactly where I was going with that.
I remember them. Or
I
90s
love
band.
Ash. They sang the song Jackie Chan.
Best album name for a song album released this week. Kablamo! Exclamation mark.
Kablamo.
We've also got the Pete Bog Fairies.
No.
The Vaccines. I like those guys.
Sure.
Zomboy. Like zombie,
That's
but
too
boy.
clever by half.
Lifehouse.
No.
Unknown Mortal Orchestra. Helloween.
I think Carrie liked them back when she was in her hair metal.
Helloween?
days. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a band.
Jared did.
Oh, yeah. I was never into Halloween.
Look at how serious he was. I was never into Halloween.
I want the record to show. I was never into
We're
Halloween.
going to record it. I was not a fan of Halloween.
Jamie XX. Paulini.
I'm holding out for the sequel, Jamie XXL.
Movies. Brief week. We've got Aloha, the Cameron Crowe.
I mentioned that last week.
So what's? I
don't even know what it's about,
We
but I
bought
like
it. We
Cameron
bought a zoo. Was his last one, right?
Was it?
That was Cameron Crowe?
No, that wasn't Cameron Crowe, was it?
I thought it was.
Jared, research. Quick. Crack
Right.
researcher.
Well, what was his last movie? If you don't think it was that, Elizabethtown.
me.
I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, We Bought a Zoo. That was
He
his last
directed
one.
that?
Yeah.
Wow. I would have never known.
Step off.
Wow, it's been 4 years. That was 2011. Oof.
That does not seem like a Cameron Crowe movie.
All right, exactly. Listen to this cast: Bradley Cooper,
I
Emma
know.
Stone, Rachel McAdams. This is like two of the prettiest ladies. Alec Baldwin, Bill Murray, John Krasinski, Danny McBride, Jay Baruchel. I like every one of those people.
While revisiting the site of his greatest career triumph, a military contractor played by Bradley Cooper unexpectedly falls for hard-nosed Air Force watchdog Emma Stone, assigned to him while simultaneously reconnecting with his ex, Rachel McAdams. Sounds like a love triangle. I mean,
Sounds delicious.
next.
home video. We've got 3 movies I don't know: The Loft, I guess, Seventh Son, and Cut Bank.
Never and ever any of those.
Video games. Akiba's Trip, Undead and Undressed, Audio Surf 2, Badland, Game of the Year Edition.
Not a lot of great video games right now.
Everything's on mobile. Or like that Badland, it is a PS3, PS4, and Vita release of an iOS game.
After The Witcher, there's really nothing until Madden in August, I think.
Yeah, you might be right. It's bad. It's a bad time.
Is it because all the kids are outdoors playing?
Yeah, just games aren't released in summer. Just as unusual. Then we'll get E3 coverage, obviously.
Right. But yeah, no games then, because
Yep.
it's like, that's all the news. It's bad. Who cares?
Next.
That's it. No more.
No more,
games.
Jared, except one thing.
Hit it or miss it, hit of the week. Hit it or miss it, miss of the week. Look out!
I'm pointing at you, Jay.
My turn to pick. This time, I'm going to pick a hit.
Oh.
This is sort of a tentative hit because I'm not really sure how this film is going to land, but it is the big release of the week, and I think a lot of people are going to go see it, and a lot of people probably like a lot of the cast that are in this one. I'm
Hit
talking
me.
about the new disaster porn film, San Andreas,
You're hitting this.
in which I'm going to hit it. I think it looks like it could be fun. At least it's going to be decent, summer popcorn fun.
Could we do like a hit/miss?
I don't know. I mean,
It's his pick.
I'm going to say hit it. I
Okay,
think
fine.
Kylie
I'm down.
Minogue is in it.
Kylie
Well,
Minogue.
now it's a definite hit.
So The Rock, he is he's a fire rescue guy or something like that. He's gonna have to fly around and rescue everyone in the city. That apparently the megaquake on the San Andreas fault has finally happened.
Finally.
Los Angeles and other areas of California are about to plummet into the sea.
It's a
This
world-changing event, Jared.
This was Lex Luthor's secret wish in Superman 1. He was going to launch missiles. He was going to break California off into the ocean, and he'd have all of this brand new, fresh coastline area that he owned, and he was going to reap his millions. And now
only took 35
it
years
only
to
took
make it
35
happen.
years. It's finally happening. Brand new film, San Andreas, starring
Nice.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. That is my hit. Why am I not having sound? There we go.
Ooh.
App has to be in the front.
Whenever Jared does that, I always get very nervous that we're having recording issues.
No, I had a different app
Okay.
in the front.
Well, Jared, take us home, will you, sir?
This is the part of the show where you chime in. If you've got something to say, maybe you've had an endoscopy. Maybe you're one of the endo.
Maybe you're not 100.
Maybe you're the Endobros, just like these two over here.
The Endobros.
You want to tell us all about
I
it.
got to write that down.
Maybe you've
I'm
had
gonna
the
trademark that.
Maybe you've had the butt version, as Adam calls it. And you got a story to tell. Write us at comments@thescopeshow.com or call the voicemail line 612-21-SCOPE or 612-217-2673. If you've got video of this thing and you want to share it with us, go right ahead. Email address, I gave it to you.
Yeah, how come they don't give you the video? I feel like That's your property.
Yeah, you should absolutely get that.
You get a picture of your baby when you get a sonogram, right?
I wonder if you can request that.
Huh. I might go back
Do they
and do
take
that.
I'm
video?
sure they do.
I thought they did.
Why wouldn't they take video and review it later?
Yeah.
Seems like a smart move to me.
It does seem like a smart move. Okay, I'll think about that.
Yeah. Anyway, if you want to get in contact with us on Facebook, Tumblr, or Twitter, all those links are on our website at thescopeshow.com. And if you'd like to support the show, patreon.com/thescopeshow. That is the way you do it. You go there, you sign up, you become a content creator supporter, a patron.
Patreon, if you will.
Patron, I like to say that. You can support us for as little as $1 an episode, set a monthly cap, or cancel anytime, but you probably won't because you'll have that goodwill, that good feeling that puts you at ease and reduces all acid in your digestive tract.
That's what I want.
That is the feeling. You need to become a Patreon patron, Shane.
I think I do.
I think you do. Or you can support
The
us by
cure to my ills.
Or you can support us I lost my words. You can support us by shopping at Amazon, thescopeshow.com/Amazon. Click that link. A small part of your purchase goes into our pockets to keep the show coming to you live. Or not live, whenever. I don't know. Shane, back to you.
Wow, great job. Great job, Adam. Great job, Jared. Listeners, thanks for indulging us with a little bit of our own personal stories. It's been a great show. We got another great show coming up next week.
We do.
Secret surprise interview. That's all I'm going to say. So until next time, guys, this is Jared, Adam, and Shane saying thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
Ladies and gentlemen, we find ourselves once again at the end. I hope you've enjoyed our time together. I know I have. Fear not, Scope faithful. Days shall pass as if they were but a moment, and Jared, Adam, and Shane will return with another thrilling episode. Until then, send your comments to comments@thescopeshow.com or leave a voicemail message by dialing
612-21-SCOPE. That's 612-217-2673.
Thanks for listening, faithful fans. This is Tony Partington saying Das Vidania. Tune in next time to another terrific edition of The Scope.